Falling from a roof, Kim tries to make sense of this. He was going to graduate soon. Has he endured all these hardships for nothing? But he is sure of something. This is the day that he died. But not exactly, as he survived in a vegetative state. Inside, one of the nurses urges his grandma to pull the plug, as she has not seen any patient wake up after 3 months in such a state. He gets mad, shouting that he will never give up on his grandson. After he fell from the rooftop, he was diagnosed as a vegetative person. He can feel touch and even hear his grandma's cries for him. He thinks that it will be all right. As he has never been sick before, surely he could stand up soon. But unfortunately, in this dark world, he isn't allowed to do a single thing. His grandma grabs his hand, saying that she can't give up on him, as she took Kim and raised him after the loss of his parents. She begs for a sign from him. Anything would do. Kim tries to move with all his might, but to no avail. Later, his brother also visits, saying that the people who bullied Kim are now bullying him. He can't take much more of this. Grandma also started working in a restaurant to earn money for his hospital fee, but she got injured in the process. His brother laments this ever happening, pleading with all his might to Kim, screaming for him to wake up. Kim, in his loneliness, thinks that this all must be a dream, and if he waits a little longer, he will surely wake up from this nightmare. No such luck. As 3 years later, he is still there, noting that his brother, Hyun-jin, hasn't visited in a long time. Some nurses talk near him, saying that his grandma fainted, but they don't seem distraught, as now they can turn up the volume of the TV. He thinks about all the people who have done him wrong. Park Min, Cho Young-taek, Jung Min-ho, Kang Chang, Oh-dae, Kim Young, and even those teachers who were covering these bastards up. If by some miracle, he goes back to the time this all began, he will destroy every single one of them. He thinks about his revenge, beating them continuously in his head. But years pass. 4, 5, 6, 7, with revenge still on his mind. But 10 years pass, and he gives up. Kim finally sheds a single tear, pleading with anyone to end his life. Suddenly a man pops up in front of him, causing Kim to open his eyes. He wakes up, thinking it's just another day of the same, but it is not, as he is inside his classroom. Kim thinks it's probably just another dream, but he pinches his cheek and feels pain, causing him to take a pen for confirmation. He stabs the pen into his leg, and sure enough, this is no dream. He really came back. Behind him, he sees one of his bullies, Park, beating the snot out of someone, with everyone watching helplessly. Kim notes that this situation is the starting point of all his pain. It's that time. He goes behind Min, saying one word: stop. Park laughs at his bravery, belittling Kim with his silver tongue. But suddenly, Kim punches him directly in the cheek, causing the bully to stop talking. It seems that Kim has come back to his freshman year of high school, to the moment he has been wishing for all this time. The day everything in his life changed, Kim can still remember it vividly. Park was listening to the class half-heartedly, a typical case of a bully who harasses his friends. He also enjoyed a game called Legend Online. He goes up to a classmate, a pretty unfit boy named Lee Jung, and says that he should raise his character in his stead. Lee gives a haphazard yes, and Park takes this as confirmation. That day, he became Park's game shuttle, and his grades fell because of this. Park also asked him frequently for his personal money, dumping it in the game. Because of this, Lee's stress reached a peak, and he lashed out at Park, saying he should take care of it from now on. That was the first time Kim saw violence committed in front of his eyes. He didn't want any trouble, but Lee used to help him with his studies every now and then. He couldn't just watch. He tries to go there, but a classmate stops him, saying that if he messes with Park, it would be like digging his own grave. Kim knew of the consequences, but still went, as he wasn't that bad at sports and didn't fall behind in the boys' pecking order. Since the teacher came shortly after, the situation was roughly handled. But ever since that day, Park and his gang have bullied Kim constantly. Every day, he was dragged around, and without a day to recover, he was beaten senseless. It was hell. There was no other way to describe his situation. It cuts back to the present day, where Park has just been punched. He tries to react, but Kim swiftly grabs his hand and smashes it into a table, causing him to bleed profusely. He smacks Park around, thinking about how he engraved this situation in his head as he fell comatose. He notes that Park has a typical fighting style, relying solely on his physique. He is not used to being hit, so he will surely fall after just one attack. It seems that Kim has calculated everything, endlessly simulating this exact scenario in his head all these years. He throws Park at the lockers, bashing him constantly with his leg. He looks sinisterly at Park, thinking of all the people waiting to beat him. A chair suddenly gets thrown in his direction, the perpetrators being Park's clique. They scream for him to stop, but Kim nonchalantly looks at them, saying he doesn't want to. A gigantic dude walks to Kim's location, Kim noting that this is called Park Min-chul's gang only because he takes the lead when bullying the kids. But the guy that's in front of him is the strongest, Kang Chang. They look at each other, but suddenly a girl rushes into the class, saying that the teacher is coming. They leave, vowing revenge on their leader. While class is in session, Park thinks about what happened, noting how hard he was beaten. He vows to kill Kim. The other guys in his gang are going to gather here once class ends. Park thinks that he had his guard down. There's no way a nerd like him beat him fair and square. Even though he was the class president and would stop Parks' bullying now and then, he never crossed the line. But today he did, leaving Park to think about how he should deal with Kim. Inside another class, members of Park's gang discuss the fight, noting how carelessly Kim acted. It seems they also had something planned for him already. One asks if someone spread rumors about the stories, but whatever the reason is, Kim has looked down on them in front of everyone. If they leave it like that, people won't take them seriously anymore. So even if they have received the request, they will use this opportunity to trample on him. Kang was boiling at the thought. Inside Kim's class, the teacher leaves, causing Park to rise from his seat, prepared to take Kim down. He does not get the chance, however, as Kim acts first, landing a flying kick directly in his face. He grabs Park's head, saying they should continue where they left off. It seems that this won't end well for Park. With class finished, the gang rises from their seats and leaves for Kim's classroom, prepared to beat him. When they get there, however, a lot of people are gathered at the windows, looking in. Jung, the dark-haired one, immediately knows what is going on and rushes into the class. It is too late, however, as Kim has beaten Park out of commission, his blood splattering on their clothes. Kang rushes Kim, who thinks that this guy is the only problem he has. What should be done? The answer is simple. Fighting dirty, he grabs one of the locks nearby and smashes it into Kang's head, knocking the dude out cold. The other two stare in shock, but Kim is not done, as he pounces on the one with long hair, throwing him on the ground in the process. Kim punches him constantly, not worried about the one behind him. It's better to finish this guy, Cho, once and for all if he wants to win this fight where he is outnumbered. Kim closes in on him, looking at him with deadly eyes. He prepared for a long time for this battle, but it seems that his body isn't fit enough to follow through. Still, he perseveres, having to take out one more person. He turns his attention to Jung, who is now scared to his wits. He notes that Kim wasn't this strong before, seeing him as some sort of demonic creature emanating a terrifying aura. Kim approaches him and prepares a punch, intending to knock this guy out. A teacher comes just in the nick of time, saving Jung, who is reassured at this, thinking that Kim is doomed. The teacher takes him to the teacher lounge, bashing him for his attitude. He thinks that this is a big problem because, as his advisor, he will have to take responsibility. If he doesn't want to get involved, he has to put all the blame on Kim. He continues to bash Kim, saying that in all these years he's been teaching, he has never seen someone like him. Kim interrupts him, calmly saying that he should not overreact, as this is not the first incident of violence in school. Kim says he can use that skill of his to bury things without escalating them. He wants the teacher to bury the case for him so he won't get in trouble. The teacher, having had enough of this disrespectful behavior, slaps Kim, causing the other teachers to notice. Kim thinks about all this. This is why he died, not because of the harassment, but because of cowardly adults who were too busy with something else. He remembers clearly how this teacher, Chul, lived as a teacher, taking bribes constantly, a piece of trash that can't be called human. Kim warns him, saying he should stop. If he doesn't, he will tell the others about the bribes he's been receiving from parents, especially from Jung's parents. Even with that out, he has other things to say, for example, about the affair he is having with the English teacher. It seems that Kim has full control of this situation. In the past, he tried to go to a teacher for help, This exact one, in fact. But it seems like he dodged the responsibility altogether, not punishing the bullies at all. For snitching, they beat Kim again and again, with the teacher only noticing this once. Kim thought this would solve all of his problems, but the teacher only turned his face away from the situation, ignoring it completely. After that, he tried to solve this matter alone, fighting them for a chance at peace. But he was physically and numerically beaten. He did land a hit, however, and even that was used against him, as Jong used this opportunity to cause even more trouble for Kim. Even on the school violence committee, he took the punishment alone. But after the coma, he realized he can't take revenge with just his strength. Even adult intervention must be resolved so that he can take revenge in the truest sense of the word. The teacher is shocked at how much he knows, looking around to see if anybody has heard his words. Kim proclaims that from now on, when he speaks to him, he should think carefully before speaking. Kim tells him even more information, including the fact that he was introduced to Jung's parents through a university senior, thus taking care of Jung even before he entered school. As a reward, he receives a payment every month. And the affair he's been having with the English teacher, who is a married woman with 3 children, even knowing the motel they frequent. He sits down, warning the teacher about his situation. Even if he has to quit school, Kim will be sure to trample on his life. He remembers that by the time he was in his 3rd year, the affair had been revealed, and his wife had come to school to slap him vigorously. It was also rumored that the wife owned most of the stuff they shared, and if that's true, Kim can monopolize on his fear of this being found out. The teacher bows his head, defeatedly asking for Kim's commands. Kim says that it's simple. He should still be living like trash in the future, but instead of working for Jung and his friends, he will now only cover up Kim's incidents. If he follows these instructions until the day he graduates, Kim will never reveal his secrets. The teacher bows once again, saying he will try his best. With this card set, he must think of another one swiftly. But before that, he has something to finish, walking to Jung's class while thinking this. Inside, Jung is furious at the events of today, but calms down, thinking that the teacher won't let this matter go, as he is on his parents' payroll. He wonders if the others caught him being scared of Kim, causing him to throw the chair across the classroom, much to the dismay of his classmates. He sits down, thinking that if he had the opportunity to fight Kim again, he would surely win. His prayers seem to have been answered as Kim opens the door to the classroom, saying they have some unfinished business. Kim punches him instantly, throwing him across the room. He approaches Jung, who is now immobilized with fear. The only thing he can do is watch. Kim beats him constantly, causing Jung to think he is a lunatic. A ray of hope appears when the teacher spots this fight occurring. But as in the past, only now with the roles reversed, he walks away. Kim has won this battle. 5 minutes before all of this, the teacher sits down, wondering how he can bury this incident. It seems impossible to bury it, however, as this is an incident where 3 students were sent to the hospital. The school would also want this situation to not escalate, but that requires punishing Kim in some way. The parents would make a fuss if he didn't. Especially Jung's parents will not turn a blind eye when it comes to their son. They are influential and wealthy people, owning several residential complexes. They also didn't spare any financial support required by the school. The recent renovation was mostly done through their donation. And he also received money from them. There's no escaping their wrath if they find out. He desperately thinks of what to do, and comes to the conclusion that the only thing he can really do is separate Jung from the incident entirely. Kim has yet to mess with him, so his parents might be convinced to sit on the sidelines in this particular case. He rises from his seat, rushing to Kim with this idea. His hopes seem to have been crushed, however, as he sees Kim beating the snot out of Jung. He reluctantly turns away from the situation. Jung's parents be damned. If his relationship with the English teacher gets revealed, everything will be over for him. Inside the classroom, Kim gets mad that such weak people were looking down on him, noting that in the past, these guys always used to say that he was bullied so much because he was weak. But now, Jung is trembling so much, and he only just started. He lets go of Jung and sits down. Kim thinks about this, noting that once he messed with Jung, this incident is almost impossible to cover. He knows this, but if he were to choose his opponents in this revenge, he wouldn't have punched Park the moment he returned. Rather, he would have avoided all conflict and instead lived a peaceful life. But after going through a hellish life as a vegetative person, he only dreamed of revenge, and this is the result of it. There will be an uproar soon, with so many people sent to the hospital. The principal wants to make Bright Prospects High School into a prestigious one, so he would try hard to punish Kim for this incident. Even so, a lot of people witnessed what occurred, so he can't cover it up. If he can't handle this school in the first place, he won't be able to dream of the revenge he had in mind. This is only the beginning. Kim gets dragged into a meeting, and the principal talks about what he did with no signs of remorse. Considering this a heinous crime, most of the teachers agree that something must be done, even the English teacher who is having an affair. She tries to suggest expulsion, but her lover nudges her, thinking that if he gets expelled, it's over for them. He looks at Kim, who is knowingly smirking. The teacher tries to protect Kim, saying that he was the first to be bullied in the first place and that he wanted to catch them in the act. But Kim must have been unable to endure this and did what he did. Kim was a victim before he was a perpetrator. The teacher tries to rebuke this, but the principal is having none of it, shouting his full name, Kim Young-chul. The principal thinks Young's parents won't just sit idly, so to relieve their anger, he must stamp on the perpetrating student. If he is to make this school a prestigious institution, he must maintain his ties with the powerful. He speaks, saying that he shall convene a review committee 1 week from now, and they shall decide Kim's fate in that meeting, so they all should stop spreading rumors about this. As of now, Kim will be suspended until the meeting. Kim gets up and leaves the room. While walking away, Chul follows him, saying that even with the circumstances, he tried his best, so he hopes Kim will hold his temper a bit. Kim laughs at his attitude, thinking that not long ago, he was looking down and slapping him. Kim speaks, saying that he did try his best, but it seems that he already knew that Park has been bullying students, hasn't he? He says to keep something in mind. Until the day he graduates from school, the only way he can stop him from speaking up is to try his best for his sake, regardless of the methods. Unless he shows that much attitude, he will ruin not only Chul's life but the English teacher's too. He can promise at least that. Chul bows his head in agreement. Kim thinks about him. He would have liked to destroy him now, but he is not his true goal. He can't just throw away a useful card like him, not until he lays the groundwork at this school. Chul is only a teacher, but one who wouldn't care about the means or methods just to survive. 1 week from now is the time he's been thinking and planning about for the past decade. A situation will unfold that's completely different from what they're expecting. He goes on, noting that it's been many years since he was able to walk in this alley. A shabby villa number 00, his only 50 million one house. If it weren't for his parents' insurance money, he would have been living on a monthly salary. He thinks about the time his grandma was forced to move because of the hospital bills. He felt like the world had collapsed. He is now thankful he has a place to return to. He gets inside, calling for his grandmother, but she isn't there as she is working at this hour. He remembers that this is all for their family, so being sentimental doesn't help. He goes into his room and opens a notebook. The plan will be precisely accurate. Within 2 years, they are going to conquer the surrounding areas and establish a foundation, and clean up those people's bases. But in order for that to happen, he must fulfill 3 conditions. First, personal manpower. To bring down those school violence perpetrators, he needs enough strength to face them without being pushed back. Since there's no way for him to train himself to that extent in such a short time, he needs that person. If he can win over that specific person, it will give him a significant advantage in the future. Condition 2. His future opponents are gathering immense manpower, so he must do the same with people who have the same purpose as him. In the end, people play a significant role. He is just a freshman in high school. Even if he has the perfect plan, he can't execute it. He should take the lead and find the people that he needs. And finally, the third condition is background. This problem can be solved because he has experience. He needs the background to put his plan into action, so nothing can stand in his way. And now, the only way to solve the problem with the deliberation committee is to have background, so this is his first priority. Inside a police station, a person with white hair is bashing the policeman, asking if they know who he is. One, having had enough of his constant bashing, says that this old man should shut up. The guy gets even more mad at this notion, saying that he is a 35-year-old single man. We get his name. Myeongjin Construction's oldest son, Go Changboam. He kicks around, a policeman noting that he is a dangerous person and that they will be in huge trouble if they make a mistake here. Evidently, he hit someone, causing the person to be sent to the hospital. Chang thinks about this, saying that if things go south, his opponents will definitely make a fuss about it. Recently, his father announced the commencement of the succession race for him and his brother in order to choose the most capable one to take over the business. He, who only has a high school degree, or his younger brother, who graduated from a prestigious university and also married a famous woman here 3 years ago, are able to monopolize a strong position due to that. He is doomed if his father gets a whiff of this incident. The policeman speaks to him, saying that it's his fault. As he has beaten up innocent people, they can't just let this slide. Chang vows that they were the ones who hit him first, but as there was no CCTV there, the victim's testimony can't be argued at all. He wonders what can be done, but that's when he spots a teenager sitting in a nearby chair who says that he is here to testify for Chang, this teenager being Kim. Kim shows the policeman undeniable proof of the situation, and it seems that Chang was right. They really hit him first. The policeman asks how he got this footage, with Kim explaining that he just happened to witness it while walking by. He thought there would be trouble due to the lack of CCTV in the area, so he asked for the black box video of the parked car nearby and came straight here. Kim excuses Chang's behavior, saying that he only defended himself and that it's not his fault that he's strong enough to knock out all those guys in one blow. Chang is enthusiastic about the news, noting how good with words Kim is. He also thinks that now, with so much evidence, his position in the race is no longer in jeopardy. The cop, seeing all of the evidence, apologizes to Chang, saying he should have listened to him in the first place. Chang gets up from his seat and approaches the cop. He says that he doesn't know the circumstances he is in, but he will remember his face, clearly intending this as a threat. Outside, he puts his hand over Kim, glad that he came to the rescue when he did. Chang hands him a large sum of cash, which Kim immediately pockets, much to his surprise. Kim asks him if this incident happened by accident, but also says all there is to know about him, where he is from, and about the race that is going on with his brother for succession. Chang approaches him, feeling threatened by his words, but Kim calms him down, saying he has undeniable proof for his words. Kim knows all about this because he listened to all of it when he was comatose. He knows the story from start to finish. Kim asks Chang for an hour of his time, promising that it's not something that will harm him and might even save his life. Inside a cafe, Kim shows him the other half of the black box. He didn't show it to the policeman as it wasn't necessary, and he could prove his innocence with just that. But 30 minutes before the incident, 3 men gathered in front of that convenience store. At first glance, they looked like customers, but for 30 minutes they did not move a single inch, as if they were waiting for someone. The moment Chang arrived, they picked a fight, as if asking to be hit. Kim puts his cup down, saying that it's fair to say that Chang himself must be suspicious about this recent series of events. They are happening as if someone intended to, as soon as the succession race commenced, and since then, only bad things have been happening to him. Kim tells him that these were all planned by his brother to undermine him. Chang thinks for a minute. He was suspicious as well, but he didn't think his well-behaved brother would do such a thing. He asks Kim why he is telling him all of this. Kim thinks about the company, Myeongjin Construction. It's only acknowledged in the countryside as of now, but based on their solid capital and technology, they would succeed in building apartments. Thanks to the chairman's philosophy that you should never play with houses that people live in, they reduced the margin, increased the completion rate, and later put the name of the company in the big leagues. But in the process, both of the sons disappeared. Chang was the start of the problem, and not long after, an incident that shook the grounds of Daesan occurred, to the point that even Kim, who was suffering from school violence at the time, knew about it. Chang was aiming for the position and did all sorts of things, some of which were discovered by his brother later on. Chang, angry at his discovery, punched him extremely hard, and with one blow, his little brother became permanently disabled. Their father, furious at this squabbling, announced that both of his sons were incompetent, so he wouldn't hand over the company to them. This is causing an uproar. At that point, digging up the two activities of the two sons became a meme of sorts, and thanks to that, Kim was able to trace his memory and find the location of the convenience store. He thinks that, in all honesty, it would be better for Myungjin Construction in the future not to change. The eldest son isn't that evil, but he is incompetent and has a nasty temper, while the second son is a vicious person who does everything regardless of morality to achieve his own goal. But this isn't important to him. To Kim, their usefulness in the matter is more important. What's right or wrong, or what kind of effects this change might cause, isn't his business. Kim says that he will help Chang to not only take revenge against his brother, but also take the position of chairman. Chang tries to scoff at this notion, but Kim interrupts him, saying that the people that are currently helping him win the race are merely filling his ears with sweet nothings. While a high schooler like him can decipher the youngest's plot, it's obvious that those people are only informants for his brother. Kim asks for a chance, the chance to build their relationship on trust. Chang goes to clear his mind with a cigarette, and Kim thinks about why he chose him. He chose Chang because he is moderately rotten and would destroy his brother for the sake of power. Chang thinks about Kim's words and thinks that he isn't wrong. At this rate, his successor's position would be stripped away from him powerlessly. But can he really trust the words of a 17-year-old who he's only met for the first time in his life? He remembers his father's words. If he doesn't have any skills, he should surround himself with people that do. If he does so, he will be able to lead Myungjin Construction. Chang goes inside and asks Kim about the plan. After he hears it, he will make a decision. In an undisclosed location, the youngest receives the news about Chang's escape from the situation, fuming with rage at the thought of his plan not working. He calms down, thinking that he still has the upper hand, and at this rate, if nothing bad happens, the successor position will naturally come to him. He doesn't get to finish thinking, however, as the phone rings, and someone tells him that the ma'am has broken into Hansung Office Tel. Kim tells him the plan. In order to win the race, he must face reality. Between him and his brother, the youngest is obviously more suitable for the position of chairman, as he has studied business at a prestigious university abroad. And he also got married to a prestigious family as soon as he returned. That way, an official succession structure has been formed. Kim says that nothing was a coincidence. The youngest has prepared everything in order to steal Chang's position. Except for the fact that he is the older brother, Chang has nothing over the youngest. On top of that, he has a lot of incidents, but I would still support him. But even with that, Kim thinks that he has the possibility of winning. Kim smirks and says, what if his brother, who is superior to him in every way, falls to the bottom, where he is? If Chang had the same skills as him, who would his father choose? The real competition begins when you stand at the same level as your opponent. At the time, the strength of being the eldest will be the thing that cannot be turned upside down. Kim tells him that if he is to win the success war, he needs 3 things. Background. He already had lost in this aspect, as when his brother was making good connections with powerful people, he was doing the same with trash from the red light district. The second one is reputation, which is lost too, as Chang is commonly known as the asshole of Daesan. And finally, there is ability. He has no hope here as well, as his brother has already proven his worth through accomplishments in the business, while he was out drinking and partying. But from now on, they are going to overturn those 3 things, starting with the background. Kim says that it's not like he can marry into a prestigious family or get authority out of nowhere, so they have to think outside the box. They have to separate his brother, Chang Suk, from his wife. Once the support of his wife, who plays a pivotal role in his background, is gone, he will be at the starting point, just like them. Inside an office, Chang Suk apologizes to his father, Go Myungjin, the company chairman. He calls Chang Suk pathetic, saying that he already contacted the father-in-law and said that he will teach his son a lesson so it doesn't get to a divorce. Also, his wife said that she will be staying away for a while and she is going to see how he can make it up for her. Chang Suk tries to apologize again, which causes his father to snap, saying that he already warned him that if he plays around with other women, the family will fall. If he was going to play around like that, he should at least be single, like Chang. He moves on to his case, asking why he was in a police station recently. He thinks that Chang will claim that he is innocent, like he used to. Back to the discussion Kim and Chang had. He thinks that the only thing he needs to do is look for his brother's faults and point them out to his father. He will surely be disappointed. But Kim says that it would be a bad idea. We see that while he was comatose, he heard a documentary about Myungjin where it said that he knew what the little brother was plotting against his older brother, but he didn't stop him. Kim thinks about this. Myungjin didn't prioritize clean conduct when choosing a successor, so even if the successor's private life was dirty, he wanted them to be someone who could contribute to the company. So even if Chang points out his brother's faults, his heart will not waver. Chang needs to display the attitude of a charmer. He must prove that he has changed, and thus Kim tells him the plan. In the office, Chang apologizes profusely. This causes his father and brother to be surprised. Chang says that he will be mindful of his position before he acts, also asking his father to let him scold his brother further for what he did. The father smiles, saying that he didn't cause the fight in the first place, but he did his best to avoid fighting. He took care of the problem by himself. He is proud of him. Outside of the office, Chung Suk warns his big brother, saying that he will find the person who told him about the hotel he was having an affair at, and when he does, he will tear that person to pieces. But Chang isn't listening, as he keeps repeating the words his father told him. His father, who always acted strict and didn't show them much affection, has finally acknowledged him. He even patted him on the shoulder. This kind of thing must keep happening from now on. Chang gives Kim a ride home, thanking him for the advice that got his father's attention. He also asks him what he should do to become chairman. Kim calms him down, saying that they only won the first battle, and to become chairman, he has to win the other two as well. He has plans, but they are hard to execute right now. He says that from now on, Chang should join the company as a minor employee and learn how things work. The plan will come when the time is right. Chang is hesitant at first, but smiles and says that he will do anything Kim says. He says that there is one more thing. They are working together because they want things from each other. So for helping Chang, he granted him a wish. He tells him to demand anything. There's nothing he wouldn't do for him. Kim says that he will be direct. He wants Chang to be his, but that's when we see what happens on the day of the review committee, with Young's mother Sunja slapping Chul because he doesn't want to expel Kim. He wonders what he can do, as he already talked with Kim, but he won't budge, not even wanting to apologize for what he did. Kim says that he should just use his brain and find a solution. He must understand that if Kim dies, he dies too, so he wishes him good luck while leaving. Chul is on his last legs. What must he do? The committee begins and the principal says that Chul will explain what happened. He gets up and screams that this case is clear. The bullies of this school, including Jung, started harassing their classmates first. This is an absurd case where the attacker is being treated as the victim. We see that Chang came as Kim's legal guardian. This is probably the favor he asked of him. Chul is surprised, thinking that he has much more cash than Jung's family. He is the only one who knows who Chang really is, so he must switch lanes. The principal is surprised at his words, saying that he should tell them exactly what happened to avoid a misunderstanding. Chul says that for a long time, he was receiving reports of Park's group harassing their fellow students. At first, he tried to scold them not to do such things, but as time passed, their harassment got worse. A few days ago, Park was bullying another student, Lee, and Kim, who was there, asked them to stop. He tried to stop them with pure intention, but Park called his friends and started threatening Kim, who had no choice but to defend himself. He knows that Kim went a little too far, but with the knowledge they have, if they just punish him, they will become grown-up scumbags who ignore bullying in schools. The principal says that this is not what they were talking about. This is about how Kim sent 4 people to the hospital for the first time in the history of this school. And the information about the bullying isn't confirmed and has nothing to do with the topic at hand. Whatever Kim's reason was, violence can't be accepted. His heart aches at having to choose who did wrong, but punishment is necessary to stop an incident like this from ever happening. They should do that to help the parents of their student, who have entrusted them with their child, return home with peace of mind. He asks Jung what happened. He begins talking with a fake shake in his voice and says that he experienced something entirely different than what Chul said. He was just walking by when he saw Kim beating Park for no apparent reason. This can be validated by the classmates there. It's a fact that Kim started the fight. He puts his hand over his face, saying that he saw his friend getting beaten, so he had to go help. But with no hesitation, Kim brandished himself with a weapon, the lock. Of course, Kim must have also felt intimidated with so many people rushing at him. But he didn't have time to think about his feelings, as he was only concerned about Park. So he doesn't understand why Chul would put the blame on him. Kim also came to beat him again after Chul scolded him. He beat him in front of the others. We see that Jung is brandishing a smile below his hands. He is truly scum. The mother gets up and says that they raised their precious son carefully so that he would never get hurt. But look what happened to his face. And all this, just because of a school scuffle? It has only happened to her son now. But they won't know when this might start happening to other kids. They, as parents, shouldn't be ignorant. They must punish the bully. The other parents discuss and come to the conclusion that they must punish Kim. Park and his gang, who are at the hospital, think that Kim must be screwed now, as Jung's mother is a soccer mom who flips over the school for her precious kid. Park says that is probably true, but if he doesn't get expelled, he is going to harass him to do so. And if he does get expelled, he will be going after him for indemnity. They should all fetch at least $1,000,000. Chang slams his fist and says that they should talk about what really happened. Don't they know that Jung, the demon with the face of a human, planned for all of this? The principal demands he stop calling his student a demon, but Chang says that Jung is not lesser than he personally checked into Park's group, and they have been harassing and robbing the other students. They are quite famous too. They are so famous that there isn't a person who doesn't know about them. Chang asks him directly why he is trying to cover this up. Is it because he received a bribe? Kim was just trying to defend himself, and Chul also mentioned that they have to look into the fundamentals of this case. Chang says that when they were young, did they just stand still when those kinds of thugs beat them? Jung's mother has had enough, and demands to know why he is calling her son a thug. She also demands to know his identity, as he heard Kim doesn't have any parents. Chang smiles. We see that Kim really asked for him to become his custodian. Chang says that if he needs money, he should just say so. Kim says that he needs wealth for the things he has planned, but if he only needed money, he would have chosen simpler ways. He says that he plans to cause a lot of trouble in the school, not just any minor stuff that is common in school, but incidents big enough to cause legal problems. And every time that happens, he is hoping that Chang will have his back and help solve the problem. Kim says that if Chang can do this for him and satisfy him, no matter what he has to do, he will make him the chairman of Myeongjin Construction Company, or perhaps something even greater. Chang accepts, saying he is great at those kinds of things. He reveals his identity to the committee, saying he is Kim's custodian, and also the eldest son of Myeongjin Construction Company. Chang says that Kim is like a younger brother to him. He is not the type to cause trouble, but he heard that he was called to a committee, so he came running, even putting aside all the work he had. He says that Cheonil High is a prestigious school and hopes that Kim can attend it without trouble. He was also planning to sponsor the school in the company's name, but he's considering it now. He says that educators should instill good values in students. And if it is, then why is Kim, the one who fought against the bullying, being punished? They're all ignoring the years of bullying he went through and punishing him for standing up for himself. Where was all this when he was being beaten? Why did they turn a blind eye when Kim was the victim? If they did so because he was from a poor family and they received hush money from the bully's family, he promises he won't let this go easily. He will turn this place upside down. The bully that is sitting in the victim's seat and those who are on Young's side, he will make sure they never step foot in Daesan again. They can take that as a threat. The principal is surprised at this turn of events. Wasn't Kim orphaned and living with his grandpa and younger brother? If he takes Young's side, he won't be able to dream of getting connections with Myeongjin Construction. He will most likely be thrown out of Daesan City if he messes with such powerful people. But this is also a chance to get on the good side of them. Even if he is called a traitor, if he thinks about the school's future, he must take Kim's side. He says that he heard about a group of bully kids, and the ringleader was presumably Jung. The mother tries to retort this, but no luck, as he doesn't let her speak. The principal says that these are the facts, and this is a place where judgment is placed solely on facts alone. Kim is a high-achieving student. He must have a reason, so they must let him tell his side of the story. Kim says that he told the teachers multiple times about it, but he got hit with the same answers. That Park is actually a good student, and they were just playing around, so he should be a man about it. Even if the teachers looked further into the case, they would just lightly scold them. Yes, he did hit Jung and also sent the others to the hospital. But why is he sitting here only because he hit them once? Because he is in the wrong? No, it's because they thought he was powerless. He demands that the gang that has been committing such deeds until now be punished first. And if not, he will spread the word about this incident outside of school. Everyone will know the reality of Cheonil High, and it will become a disgrace to Daesun. There must be a definitive punishment. The mother says that she will never allow her son to be held accountable and calls her husband. He answers and she explains the situation, saying that they are blaming Jung for all of this, just because Kim's custodian is the eldest son of Myungjin Construction. The husband gets furious, demanding she return at once. That man can destroy their family and everything they build in a second. Let Jung take any punishment. That same night, Kim thinks about what happened with Jung getting expelled and him only getting 100 hours of volunteer work. Jung tries to retaliate with his fists, but his own mother stops him. Kim smiles and demands he get on his knees and beg. Jung asks why he would do such a thing, as he is already expelled. Kim says to ask his mother, who turns her face away. He whispers into Jung's ear that he should try his best to soothe him, as this might not end with just expulsion. The mother desperately urges Jung to beg, and he does so. The scene mimics what Kim's grandmother did in his past life. Kim kneels at his level and says that he doesn't feel any better, so he should start praying. Because his future will be filled with only misery from now on. With the deliberation committee's end, he has taken one step closer to the mastermind of the gang, who tried to push him to his death. Kim meets with Park at night, who thanks him for coming, but Kim is not here for small talk, saying that he should get to the point. Park does so and apologizes for his actions, as he was immature and wasn't thinking about other people's feelings. After he spent a week in the hospital, he accepted the decision and promised to never hurt anyone again. But he also asks Kim to let this go, as he asked the teacher, and if Kim agreed, they wouldn't get expelled. Park tries to convict him, to the point where this seems like blatant begging. Kim thinks about this. Even though they act high and mighty in front of everyone, they are still high schoolers with unstable lives. They won't be able to find another school here in Daesan, so they must believe that they will be stamped for the rest of their lives as criminals. Park also tells him that someone gave them the order to bully him, but Kim knows. He knows very well. While he was in a coma, a student who was bullied just like him threw himself off the rooftop. The note he left behind contained the truth. The Golden Circle, an organization founded in prestigious schools in Gangnam, the core members were unknown even to him, who came from the future. The founder of this group saw students suffering because of bullying and had an intuition that this would be a profitable business. He recruited bullies, or kids with strength, and sought out students who had powerful status or were otherwise wealthy, and he offered them protection. A system was formed so the students he managed would receive excellent grades. And if the member was falling behind in grades, the recruited bullies would remove the top-ranking student. This seems to be why Kim was targeted. In the future, Kim saw that the outline members of the circle were revealed, but shortly afterwards, the case was buried, and the identity of the real Golden Circle was not revealed until the very end. But in order to get his revenge on the ones who pushed him to the brink of insanity, Kim must know more about them. Kim tells him that he was probably hired by the Golden Circle, but it's strange, as they are based in Seoul and Jeon, so their power shouldn't reach here in Daesan. So who hired him? Park says that it was Shin Young-min. Kim knows this name. He is a third-year student at the school and a bully who holds the school in his palm. He didn't think that he would be a member of the circle because the Golden Circle also leaves requests for people who are outside their scope. Shin might not know the client himself, but he at least must be in contact with the circle. Kim can draw the circle out by using him, but Shin wouldn't give information that easily, and he's strong. So strong that he will debut as a professional MMA fighter in the future. Right now, he needs to get rid of him first and foremost. Kim asks if Park wants forgiveness and grabs him. Kim notes that there are layers upon layers of feelings he has accumulated over the years. Forgiveness? Repentance. He will never allow it. Kim gets close and tells him that this will happen from now on if they ever meet again. He begins beating Park, And while doing so, he thinks that in his previous life, Park and the others were extremely successful, with Park having a daughter, and that was the whole world for him. Kim couldn't believe it. So perhaps this is karma doing what it does best, for the trauma and suffering Kim has experienced all this time. The next day at school, Kim's classmates discussed the situation, saying that he was quite shy and kept to himself before. So when did he turn this violent? He arrives in the classroom, with everyone shutting up at the sight of him. Kim sits down, and that's when Lee comes from behind to thank him, saying that he is indebted for what he did to those bullies. Kim asks why a kid who didn't want anything to do with him when he heard what was happening, a kid who was too scared to testify, is thanking him. Kim says that he doesn't care what happened to Lee from now on. He doesn't want to see his face around here anymore. On the rooftop, Shin discusses the plan with someone else, saying that it has been ruined. Now that Kim has the backing of Myeongjin Construction, nobody can lay a hand on him. In Daesan, at least. The guy there asks if he's just going to give up, but Shin denies this, saying that this isn't that bad, and it could always be worse. They now have the opportunity to make more money, and if they can make a lot just by taking care of one meager high schooler, they should be extremely thankful. He also tells the guy to get the head of the freshman on the rooftop now. While the class is in session, Kim thinks about the situation. In order to take down the Golden Circle, he has to excel in school because that's the kind of person the circle targets. To one of the members, he is just a thorn in their side since he also got great grades in middle school. So somewhere in the classroom or in the school, the real culprit is hiding. The one who wants Kim gone so that they can be the top student. He does have a few suspects now, but nothing concrete. So what he needs to do now is prepare for the future. After school, he goes to Youngdu Chul, Korea's first ever MMA fighter, to become the UFL world champion. But now he is just a remnant of the past that no one cares about. He goes inside and says that he is here to register, as he wants to become good at fighting. On the roof, the head of the freshmen arrives, Jinwoo. Shin notes how big he is and that he was in a wrestling academy before. But he wants a favor from him, to cripple Kim so that he can never be normal again. Chul explains the benefits of joining the gym to Kim, who thinks that he didn't recognize him at first, but he is really the former champion. He asks Kim why he wants to join the gym, and he says that he wants to be good at fighting. Good enough to beat all of the bullies like dogs. Chul looks at him saying that a gym isn't a place where he is encouraged to fight, and if the reason he wanted to join the gym is for just this, he cannot accept Kim. Besides, if he works out a little, the bullies won't be able to do anything to him, so why doesn't he just do that? Kim thinks about Chul. He could have lived a great life with his fame, but there's a reason why he's running such a rundown gym now. Prohibited drugs. In the doping test conducted after the third match to defend his title, he was found to have anabolic steroids in his system. He admitted it publicly without making excuses and ended his career right there and then. But Kim doesn't care about any of that. What he cares about is the talent he has. As Chul made an untalented third-rate fighter into Korea's best, if he can get this man to train him, he will get much stronger. Kim says that he did whatever it took to defeat his opponents when he was a fighter, and he's basically doing the same, so there shouldn't be a problem, right? Chul notes that he was stupid then, and if he could turn back time, he wouldn't make the same mistake again. Making a bad choice for a result that can be attained through hard work will make him fall really hard, just like he did. Chul gets up and demands Kim leave, as he has nothing to teach him. But that's when Kim says that he will give him 100 million won, as he knows he needs the money right now. And if he promises to teach him, Chul will have the money within a day. He will also pay in advance, so even if he quits in the middle of training, he has nothing to lose. Kim adds that he knew all the outcomes of choosing the drug, but he did it anyway. All that happened was because of his actions. It's the same for Kim, too. If he learns to fight from him, he may end up worse than expected. He may become disabled or live his whole life in jail, but he has come here knowing the risk and is determined to endure such a future. He needs an instructor like Chul. He says that he will never let Kim use drugs. He will be helping by teaching. But first, if Kim can endure a round against him, he will acknowledge his determination and accept the offer. That night, he comes back home, beaten to a pulp. The grandma is shocked to see him like this and demands to know who did this to her child. And Chul is sitting in the gym, messaging someone. We see that Chul warned Kim before they started fighting, saying that he met quite a lot of people who came here for bullying, but he didn't care much about their goals, as those are just words. Words that are meaningless when you stand in the octagon. There were people who were quite confident, but they soon begged him to stop after the fight started. He explains the rules. 3 minutes, no ground. Kim has to endure just 1 round. If he can endure this, Chul promises to train him. They get into positions, and he notes Kim's crappy posture but otherwise fearless attitude. Chul goes in for a punch, which Kim manages to block. But it doesn't appear so, as Chul gets through his block and throws Kim on his ass. Chul demands that he stand up, as it's been only 10 seconds since they started. The fighting begins, and Kim can do nothing except block. Chul's punches suddenly stop, and that's when he hits Kim in the leg, causing him to fall down. Chul says that they should stop, but Kim gets up and demands they continue the fight. Chul's endless onslaught continues, with Kim wondering what to do. He tries to go in for a punch, which gives Chul the perfect opportunity to uppercut him, presumably ending the fight. Chul tries to leave, thinking that he can't sell himself to a person who can't endure even this. He mustn't fool himself ever again. But to his surprise, Kim gets up, saying that it's not over yet. Chul looks at him and spots the malice and despondency in his eyes. He must trample on him before he becomes a demon. Chul notes that his consideration ends here. He will not hold back any punches. He continues to wail on Kim but suddenly stops, causing Kim to think that he will hit him in the leg again. But Chul has other plans, as he lands a perfect kidney shot on Kim. He says that there's 1 minute and 30 seconds left, so if he doesn't get up in about 15 seconds, he will consider this fight over. Kim tries to do so, but his body won't listen to him. Kim is desperately trying to get up. He has been waiting for this moment ever since he was in a coma. If he doesn't want history to repeat itself, he has to get up. He slowly rises from the ground, thinking that if he can get revenge, he will even jump in the devil's den willingly, so until he rips everyone to pieces, he can't fall down. Chul notes that the punch he delivered just now is something even a pro fighter would struggle to recover from. Just what kind of life has Kim been living? If a person like him learns to fight, his life will spiral out of control. He must stop Kim right here and now. He closes the gap instantly and delivers a mighty punch. Kim demands that his body endure it. Even if he gets a broken nose or his teeth get knocked out, he must endure it no matter the cost. 12 seconds remain on the clock, and Kim still stands. Chul continues to beat him, but just as he is about to deliver the final punch, the clock chimes. This is Kim's victory. Chul leaves and says that the hospitals are closed now, so he should go tomorrow and not tell anyone he did this. He also demands Kim follow him, as he has to give him his bank account number. We see that a few days ago, a broker from an MMA association offered Chul a deal. They would pay him if he used drugs one more time and joined a match in their tournament for public excitement. Chul sees the money Kim gave him, and thinks that had it not been for him, he would have accepted the deal. Kim eats a meal while at home, saying that he just fought some bullies at school, so it's nothing too serious. He also asks his grandma if they still have the housing subscription savings account. The grandma confirms this, saying she's been saving $100,000 every month for years now. Kim says that he heard that Myungjin Construction is launching an apartment subscription program this month, so they should try and secure the deal. The grandma adds that even if they are selected, they can't move if they don't have the money. Kim says it's fine, they can borrow from a bank or easily sell this flat. And if they can't handle the payments in the future, they can sell the right of sale to others. She applauds his knowledge of real estate, but he says that it's nothing. He thinks that Chang will put his grandma at the top of the list of those selected. He wanted to give her the 100 million won, but she would have been suspicious as to where it came from. The next day, Shin congratulates Jinwoo on a job well done, saying that he heard from the freshman that Kim got beaten to a pulp, so from now on, he can tell that he is close to him, and that they should hang out after school. Jingwoo doesn't know what is going on, but goes along with it, thinking of this as an opportunity. He goes inside the school to check on Kim, and it seems that it's true. He really was beaten up. Jinwoo notes that Kim must not be that strong if he was beaten up like that, so he plans on making a move soon. He also tells his goons that they should intimidate all the freshmen, warning them that if they talk with Kim, they will suffer for it. In the gym, Chul says that Kim needs stamina for anything he does, so he needs to train first. Kim does so, and endures 2 hours of rigorous training. If he wants to beat Shin, who has been trained for years, he must at least endure this. Moreover, he is not even his real target. He also needs to get stronger so that he can beat up the guys in the Golden Circle. Chul notes Kim's tenacity. The training lasted for 2 hours, but he was pushed to the limit every second of it. He has potential. Chul says that ever since he was found doping, he's been researching how to be the best without illegal methods. So from now on, he will be applying the outcomes of his research to Kim's training. If he can keep up with this, he will become strong enough to make anyone kneel before his might. 1 week later, Kim sits in class when suddenly a boy approaches him, Siwoo, who tells him that he didn't do anything wrong and that he doesn't want to be on the same side as those who are ignoring him. Kim asks what he is talking about, and Siwoo explains that Jinwoo said that he will kill anyone who tries to get close to him. Kim asks why he came then, and Siwoo says that they have been close since elementary school, so even if he is beaten to death, he can't ignore a friend who is being bullied. Kim notes that Siwoo tried to save him before, but he got bullied in the process, so he pretended not to know him at all. And one day, while he was comatose, Siwoo came to apologize for being so weak. He couldn't protect his friend, and if there was another life, he wouldn't leave Kim alone. He grabs Siwoo's hand and says that he shouldn't act like they are close. He needs to do what the others are doing because what he is going through is none of his business. Siwoo leaves, reminding Kim that he will do what he wants to do and that he won't leave him alone. Kim notes that in the process of fulfilling the Golden Circle, he doesn't know what kind of pain and suffering will befall him. Siwoo can't get involved in this. All the relationships except his family should be cut off. He shouldn't involve others in the fight. While getting ready to leave, Kim heard that Jinwoo got a hold of Siwoo and is beating him as they speak. Kim rushes out of the classroom, hoping to save his one true friend. We see that in a room, Jinwoo is confronting Siwoo, asking why he talked with Kim. Did he not hear his warning before, or is he just that stupid? Siwoo approaches slowly, saying that he speaks to whoever he wishes to, and Kim is his friend. So they should stop playing around and get serious. Jinwoo tries to say something, but he doesn't get to, as Siwoo kicks him in the face, causing Jinwoo to fall on his ass. He gets furious and orders his goons to attack. They surround him, and the fight begins. While fighting, Siwoo thinks about Kim. He tried to warn him about this, but he still got caught in it. But he couldn't just pretend not to see what was happening. Kim might be a little extreme, but he is still the same as he was back then. A true friend. So he won't give up on him, no matter what he has to go through. Siwoo is skilled, but with so many people attacking him, he is weakening. Suddenly, Jinwoo comes from behind and uppercuts him, incapacitating Siwoo. He throws him into the wall, saying that he is nothing, even with his useless martial arts. Jinwoo continues to slap him, saying that he should have heeded the warning. Now, he will make his life a living hell, so he better be prepared. Suddenly, the door gets kicked open, by none other than Kim, who approaches with confidence. Kim thinks about Jinwoo. He had to defeat him anyway, but he is in a whole nother weight level, so in order to win, he needs to annoy him a bit. Kim begins insulting him, throwing snarky remarks about his weight, and says that he only won against Siwoo because it wasn't a fair 1v1. Jinwoo has had enough and orders his goons to stand back, as he will take care of Kim alone. He charges in, but gets stopped by Kim, who throws a jab in his face, also insulting him further. This makes Jinwoo's attacks even larger, giving Kim the opportunity to wail on him with his newfound abilities. And with one final punch, he knocks him to the ground. But it doesn't end there, as Kim needs to engrave fear into Jinwoo, so he continues hitting him, blood splattering on the ground while he does so. Jinwoo is on his last legs and begs Kim to let him go. He grabs him by the shirt, saying that he was the one who beat him, right? So there shouldn't be a problem if he says it again. So he should, in front of everyone. Jinwoo apologizes, saying that he was forced by Shin to do it, so he couldn't possibly refuse. And about his victory, those were just baseless rumors, so he begs Kim to let him go, promising to not do anything like this ever again. Kim lets go, issuing a final warning to not put a hand on Siwoo ever again, and if he catches him doing something like this, he will follow him anywhere and end his miserable life. In the infirmary, Kim notes that Siwoo should have done the same thing as the other people, and if he doesn't want to experience something like this again, he shouldn't get involved further. Siwoo stops him, saying that before he lost consciousness, he saw Kim coming. In a way, they are alike, as Kim came to his rescue just like he would have. How can he ever ignore such a friend? He doesn't know what his business is, but the facts are the same. They are friends, and even if he has to go through something like this again, that won't change. Kim notes that it wasn't a coincidence that he fought Park's group, and he was the one who started the fight in the first place, because they deserved it. And this is just the beginning, as he plans to tear anybody involved into pieces, even if he has to sell his soul to do so. Siwoo tries to say something, but Kim interrupts him, saying that he went through something terrible that he can't speak about, and he is looking for revenge only. So if Siwoo will stay near him, more things like that will happen, with much worse opponents. Kim says that he thinks of Siwoo as a friend, but that's all. He is not the same friendly Kim from the past. So from now on, he shouldn't get involved, as he will never be able to handle what is coming. Siwoo clenches his teeth in frustration, and Kim looks down with a dim expression outside of the infirmary, thanking him for everything. In his class, Shin admires the amount of cash he is making from the Golden Circle jobs. To think, so much cash only for bullying some kids? He has to ask for more commissions in the future, and if he makes some connections, he might be able to live as a Golden Circle broker even after graduation. His thinking gets cut short as Kim opens the door, asking him if he is the one named Shin. He confirms this, and Kim wastes no time in attacking, going for a kick which Shin barely manages to block. He tries to ask Kim what this is about, but he doesn't let him, and continues the onslaught of attacks. Shin notes that Kim must have likely learned to fight from somewhere, but he isn't powerful, and his patterns are predictable. But it doesn't appear to be so, as Kim suddenly swerves and lands a wrenching gut punch, and he also reveals his identity. He is the one he was looking for all this time. Shin tries to speak once again, but Kim does not care for words, so he grabs a chair and bashes him in the head with it. This surprises Shin, who thinks that he must give it his all in this fight. Kim throws the chair and goes for a punch, but Shin catches it, allowing him to go on the offensive. Kim tries to block, but Shin knows a few tricks too and fakes the attack. Kim notes that compared to Chul, he is nothing. He also knew that he couldn't beat Shin in the first place. This was a fight just to prove himself. He never planned on winning unhurt, so he has to risk it all on this one chance. Kim suddenly grabs Shin's leg and grabs him whole, throwing him into the nearby window. He holds him over the window, and Shin demands to know what Kim wants. He says that he wants to end this with one of them dying. Suddenly, the other people in class grab Kim, who notes that he will hunt down Shin and that this will never end until he dies. Kim gets dragged away by the other students, and one of them asks Shin if he is okay, as his back is full of glass shards. 30 minutes later, a message can be heard over the speakers. The students whose names will be called have to present themselves to the principal's office. Chul arrives at the scene, and seeing the amount of blood left behind by Shin, he wonders what he can say to the principal to save Kim. But much to his surprise, the principal orders him to ignore it. He heard that in the Myungjin Construction Company success race, the eldest son, Chang, has suddenly risen in popularity. When Chang decided to sponsor the school, he said that he would sponsor a significant part of the operating expenses. And if he became chairman, he promised to greatly increase the amount. The principal notes that sponsorships are different, as people do them only when the recipient has something they want. So why would Chang sponsor a school like theirs? For goodwill? Or perhaps reputation? None. The answer is the request that Chang made. As long as Kim is this school's student, no matter what he does, they must cover it up. So they should let this pass, and Chul should take care of it, as he is adept in this business already. And of course, the performance and other special benefits will be given to him as a priority. He also notes that Chang saved a couple of spots in the upcoming housing project Myungjin Construction is doing. Doesn't he want an apartment separate from his wife so he can better hide what he's been doing? From now on, all they have to do is take care of Kim. Chul is enthusiastic and says he will do his best from now on. The principal notes his reliability and says that Chul should address him as Big Brother, since they are in the same boat. Chul grabs his hand and says that he will help him make this school the most prestigious in all of Korea, so the principal will surely become the legend of Daesun in the future. The principal notes that if Kim graduates without any problems, the school will have Myungjin Construction on its back, so they both have to work hard. Suddenly, someone comes into the room saying that Kim was hit, shocking both of them. They begin interrogating Shin, who tells them that he is innocent. Kim was the one that started the fighting. The principal bashes him for assaulting a student who is 2 years younger, and Chul continues, saying that they have been keeping an eye on him as he has been beating others every time he gets the chance. Shin, having had enough of this, screams that he almost fell off the building and died, and that there are also witnesses. Chul crouches to his level and says that there are always witnesses. The problem is believing them, so they should go outside, grab someone, and ask them, an ordinary student or a criminal like him, who would be at fault. Shin curses in anger, causing Chul to grab him by the clothes, saying that he should talk properly from now on, and that if he doesn't admit to this crime, he will be seriously punished. Shin looks at both of them. The adults in front of him were as rotten as himself, and he finally realized that messing with Kim was a bad idea, so he apologizes. While walking away, Shin notes that he is about to graduate, so he can't let such a thing drag him down. So, even if it costs him some money, he has no other choice and must ask for help from outside. In a car, someone notes that the situation is pretty bad, though it's common for them to use one's background. How did Myungjin Construction get involved in all this? All the students who were trying to harass the target were expelled, and even the teacher is protecting him. As the broker, he has no choice but to take care of the mission himself, as the Golden Circle doesn't forgive even one single mistake. He drives away with the Golden Circle regional broker, Kang Taegu. He goes to speak with the principal, saying that Shin was punished unjustly. The principal says that they did no such thing. Taegu thinks that he will break easily, and he talks about the incident where 4 people were sent to the hospital, but the attacker was punished lightly, so perhaps they are giving special treatment to Kim. If that is the case, he won't let this go easily. The principal laughs, saying that, when in Daesan, do as the people of Daesan do. They didn't drag this into a criminal case because they thought about the future of their students. They have also already talked with the police about this, so he can do whatever he wishes. Taegu warns him once again, saying that he will do it. The principal says that he doesn't know what he wants to do, but he is sure about one thing. In this place, such a threat won't work. Taegu goes to the police, but no dice, as the policeman there says that the case was an act of self-defense, so even they could see what really happened. Should they really go that far and ruin a student's life? And if they were to punish Kim, they would also have to take Shin into custody. Taegu gets mad, smashing the table, and says that if they don't take this seriously, he will publish about what happened on the internet. The policemen sigh, saying that this is Daesan, so whether he publishes it or not, it doesn't matter. Will this calm down if he just goes on vacation? Taegu is shocked and wonders what happened to this village. He calls someone, who tells him that the chief of police is really close with the principal. But still, everyone knows each other in a village like this, so they're all probably keeping quiet. Taegu finally gets it. The reason the principal was so confident was because he trusted the local cartel. The issue regarding local cartels is that there would be a way to intervene if it simply involved personal interest. But local sentiment, a kind of territorial psychology, excludes outsiders from interfering in local affairs. Taegu thinks that this is probably why nobody takes these rural jobs and remains in Seoul. He cannot fail this job, as the Golden Circle has never failed a single request so far, so it's no stretch to say that they all owe their current reputation to them. But even if he does fail, another broker will be sent to complete the request, and if that were to ever happen, his life will surely be ruined in an instant. The Golden Circle never spares. In times like these, Taegu needs to calm down and think about how to find a way out. He calls Shin and says that he can't help him in this situation, as he is the mercenary, and messing with the Golden Circle is no joke. Taegu tells him that instead of fighting Kim, he should somehow bring down his grades by any means. He also warns Shin, saying that if he were to fail, they wouldn't just punish Kim but him as well. This is the kind of organization the Golden Circle is. Shin closes the call and wonders how that can be done, but he suddenly gets bashed in the head by Kim, who has been behind him all this time. The next day, Shin hears what his classmates are saying about him and Kim having a fight yesterday, which he apparently lost with no injury to Kim. We see what really happened. Shin tried to attack, but Kim warned him by saying that the request must be more important than his life, causing him to stop. Kim notes that he already knows the broker came to see the principal, so the situation is pretty clear. But Shin better think this through, as Kim's guardian is the eldest son of Myungjin Construction, so he never planned for this to be a problem. Kim adds that if Shin messes with him, it won't end with just his expulsion from the school. He will drag him to the criminal court and get him convicted for his actions, no matter what. And after he gets out of jail, the people from Myungjin Construction will be waiting for him, and they will do anything in their capacity to make sure he can never do anything in Daesan ever again. To live like a normal person, he would have to leave his hometown. But even that might not stop Kim. Shin is extremely scared and asks what he wants. Perhaps justice? Kim says that he only wants one thing: to destroy the people who mess with him. He grabs Shin by the shirt and says that if he wishes to live like a human here in Daesan, he must endure what his victims endured. He begins to wail on him, and that's how Shin got his injuries. He thinks that he can beat Kim with ease, but the problem is Chang and his group. But if he were to leave Kim, the Golden Circle would come after him. And if the rumors are right, he would have wished for expulsion or conviction instead of messing with them. He slams his head against the table, thinking that he doesn't have a choice. The only thing he can do is wait and hope that Kim's grades somehow drop. Kim thinks that this threat is only temporary, but after the exams are over, things will be completely different. The moment he scores an overwhelming grade in the exams, everyone's emotions will explode. Shin, who is just trying to survive in the Golden Circle, must succeed at any cost, and the requester who won't be able to see Kim fall. The moment that happens, he will have achieved his goal. He shakes a bit, thinking that if he can get what he wants, nothing else matters. Whether he uses the principle or acts evil and cowardly, it doesn't matter. Looking at the situation now, everything is exactly as he planned. Now nobody can touch him for the rest of his school life. This is a barrier built purely with malevolence that gives Kim a sense of relief. Later, he goes to the gym to train, and it seems that Kim has some hidden talent. Even his coach commends him for it. If it wasn't about the money, he would have suggested he try his luck at being a pro. Kim clothes himself and gets ready to leave, but that's when Siwoo comes inside the gym, saying that he has a consultation scheduled today. A few days ago, when Siwoo was rescued by Kim, he noted how much he had changed. It was almost as if he was a completely different person from what he once was. He sheds a tear, thinking about what Kim said to him earlier. What can he do now? Suddenly, a student barges into the infirmary, saying that Kim is in a fight with Shin. This makes Siwoo think that he is still the same friend who always had his back. Now, he wants to instill in people that there is a problem when they mess with Kim. He gets up and looks out the window, saying that if Kim is going that far for him, how can he give up on such a friend? Back to the present, Kim asks what this is about, demanding that he not take Siwoo in. He will even pay what he has to. But the coach shuts him off, thinking that having a friend with him will make Kim less likely to get into trouble. He grabs Siwoo's shoulder and leads him into another room, saying that it's his decision whether he makes him a student or not, and Kim can leave as his training is over for today. The coach asks him directly if he knows what Kim is training for, and Siwoo confirms this. He says that this gym doesn't encourage youngsters to fight, so he can't accept him. He would have liked to kick out Kim too, but due to some circumstances, he can't. Siwoo says that he understands what the purpose of a gym is, but demands that he look at his wounds. He got them while he was trying to protect Kim. The severity of bullying in schools is way worse than adults can imagine. If Kim had not saved him at that time, he would have most likely been crippled already, so he cannot ignore a friend like him. He asks the coach not to force him to join another gym, as he believes Kim chose this gym with a purpose. He hands him some money, saying that if it's not enough, he can begin to work part-time. The coach slams his fist into the table, asking why this is so desperate at such a young age. Siwoo notes that even if he doesn't accept him in the gym, he plans on sticking by Kim's side. The coach thinks about this. In a situation where even his best friend is being bullied, can he really tell these kids who are living in hell that using violence is wrong? He sighs, saying that he can come to the gym tomorrow, but warns that if he can't handle the training, it's over. Siwoo tries to leave but gets stopped by Kim, who says that the coach might have taken him in, but he doesn't accept him just yet, so he has to prove himself. Prove that he can crawl back from the bottom of hell. They go into the ring, and Kim says that Siwoo already knows what he is planning to do. Those things won't help their future lives, so what will he achieve with his involvement? Friendship. He might end up dead because of the day-after-day fighting, or perhaps end up in prison for the rest of his days. Can he really handle it? Siwoo notes that this is why he wants to help him, because 2 is better than 1. With that, the fight begins and Kim closes the gap, but Siwoo attacks with a kick, saying he shouldn't forget that he is an athlete. They exchange a few blows, and Siwoo adds that if it were a 1v1, he would have beaten Park. Kim thinks that Siwoo is really a good athlete. When he was active in the taekwondo scene, he was called Mr. Specialist and swept away all the gold medals he could win. However, during a tournament, he fought against the son of the Korean Taekwondo Association leader and lost due to an unfair decision by the referee. After that, he gave up on the sport, but his determination never left him. Kim puts him on the ground, asking if he knows about the technique called kick catch that is used in the MMA. He hits Siwoo, saying that he should surrender. But this only makes Siwoo think about the many times Kim protected him, and with newfound determination, he tries to hit Kim but misses, and he continues his onslaught of bunches, asking Siwoo to beg him to stop. Siwoo laughs, causing Kim to stop. He asks why he is doing this. Hasn't he done enough for their friendship? Siwoo says that he can't forget those memories, where he didn't do anything but was still beaten. But then Kim showed up and always helped him. So why is he doing this? Because he knows Kim didn't do anything wrong. He can't ignore his situation. After all, it's his life, so he can do whatever he wants, right? It's his decision. The coach suddenly barges into the ring. He says that they should stop fighting and instead come work out with him. He will bet his life that they can get to the top of the UFL stage. The coach notes that both of them are talented, so how are they getting bullied? They can sure take down a few guys at least. Siwoo has his kicks, which at his age are extremely accurate and powerful, and Kim's mentality, which holds a good sense of judgment and the ability to detect gaps in the opponent's defense. The coach offers them this, as their abilities are exceptional, and it would be a waste not to use them. They should drop out, forget about school, and focus on sports. Even though he is operating a rundown gym, he still has connections with many athletes, so he can truly bring them to the top. Kim asks him why he did MMA, and he says that he did it because it suited his interests. Kim notes that this is precisely why he can't. He is not interested in fighting. It hurts so much that he wants to give up every single moment. But since he has a purpose, he has to achieve it, no matter what it takes. Kim says that Siwoo should think about it, but if he accepts, they will call the deal off and continue their own way. He goes outside, and Siwoo follows him, saying that he won't regret doing this with him. Kim says that he won't stop him anymore, but he has a few conditions. First, he's going to train with him every single day. Second, he must be involved in matters he can handle, so if it's a hopeless fight or a legal matter, he must leave immediately. And third, from now on, Myeongjin Construction will give him a living wage every month. And finally, he should study. When the time comes to escape this hellish reality, he hopes he can have a much better life than he ever did. Kim thinks that this is for the better, as he can use this situation to change Siwoo's future as well. He arrives home, where his brother is watching his favorite team play. Kim says that he is going to cook for them, so he should keep watching that. He thinks that in his previous life, this team that his little brother is rooting for made it all the way to the championship game. He didn't say it at the time, but he must have wanted to watch the game directly. He loved games, but never once asked for a computer. He was just a sweet little brother who never let on that he could spend much time outside having fun. His grandmother, his little brother, and Siwoo, at the very least, so that people precious to him won't have to suffer. He will get better and live differently than before. He is going to tear down anything that gets in his way. Suddenly, he gets a message from the coach, saying that he crossed the line in asking him to become a pro, but still, he should do it, if he ever changes his mind. A few weeks later, the midterms begin. The top 10 who have yet to be acknowledged deserve a place of evaluation where they can prove their existence. The papers get passed around, and Kim thinks that if he can't get good grades, his plan will be over. He could have also easily gathered evidence and exposed the golden circle, but Kim was determined enough to completely destroy it. So in order to drag out the real golden circle, he must become an immovable obstacle in their path. He must continue like this so he can crush their disgusting pride, and they can succeed every time. This moment is the true beginning of revenge. After a while, he sheds tears, saying that he prepared so hard for this exam and put in so much effort. but he remembers everything. He remembers all the correct answers. Kim only found out then that the person called Kim was still stuck in his school days. Even while he was bullied, he studied diligently, regretting those days while living in a vegetative state. The memories of his past life were still in his mind, like they were branded into his brain. And rightly so, he should never forget about them. The desire for revenge has shaped him into who he is today. After all the exams are finished, a girl comes up to him, Hyeji, who asks why he isn't grading his own paper. He says that he doesn't want to, and he thinks about her. She was quite popular because of her beauty, but she confessed to him when she was in her first year. He rejected her at the time because he didn't think he could handle dating and studying at the same time. She says that she will do it for him, and she begins. And slowly she remarks that he did, in fact, get 100 in all of the subjects. The next day, he calls Chul to the rooftop, where they call him the top-ranked student in the entire school. Kim asks if he knows about the Golden Circle, and if not, he will tell him. A while before this, we see that the principal is getting constant calls about academies, even getting accused of favoritism. How could a student who was a nobody before get 100 in everything? The principal shuts down any notion of cheating or such, and says that the school just has an excellent education program. He closes the call, and Chul asks him if it was another call about academies. The principal confirms this, also wondering why they are so insistent this time. Chul notes that it must be because the exam was extremely hard this time. The principal says there is no reason to make a fuss over such a thing. Shouldn't they be excited about their high-achieving student? He can already see it. Kim receiving the highest CSAT score in the country and entering Hankook University at the top of his class. Something like this would give the school the opportunity to become a nationally recognized school. And with Myungjin Construction's support, his long-awaited dream will come true. The only problem is that Kim is causing problems, and it would be bad for the only first-ranked student in the school to be a problem child. The principal demands more from Chu. He should take care of Kim even more. And since he's produced the first-ranked student in the school, he will start paying him merit next month. He hands him some money, saying that it's just a small reward. The principal notes that he should enjoy it because they will undeniably achieve much more with Kim's scores. Chul agrees, thinking that he was right to side with Kim. We cut back to the present, where Kim explains to him exactly what the Golden Circle is. Afterwards, Chul asks what he wants him to do, perhaps stop Shin. Kim notes that he wants what he always wanted, for them to feign ignorance at these actions and stand by. That's plenty already, so he should also prepare mentally in advance. Somewhere else, Shin is being beaten by the broker, who has given him one more chance at solving this. If not, the price will be at least a limb. Shin sits down with some friends, wondering what he can do about the situation. A buffer dude perks up, Bei Xiangho, and he says that they should all mess with Kim at once. What is the principal going to do if 30 people or more are involved in a fight? Shin notes that this is a great idea, and hopefully it will lead to salvation. A few days later, during lunch, Kim felt a strange vibe. Someone bumps into him, and another comes from behind and slaps his head, demanding he apologize for bumping into his friend. Kim thinks that it started with the bullying, but this time he is not weak, and with a few punches, he takes all of them out. He keeps being conscious, saying that he should tell their leader that he should stop thinking about stupid stuff and bring it all at once. A while later, Xiangho opens the door to Kim's classroom, thinking that he planned to just provoke Kim and bring the guys against him later. Kim gets up, saying that if they have to fight, they should go to the recycling site where the teachers don't walk in. They go there, and Kim thinks about his plan until now. All the scenarios up until now weren't guarantees, like he imagined. This revenge will be determined by fighting Shin. If he can't handle it, he will have to pay the price. Xiangho tries to intimidate Kim, but he doesn't bite, instead saying that they should get to the point and fight. But they also have spectators, so they should come to him one by one. One of the goons who goes by the nickname Demon Senior gets in front, saying that if it's a one-on-one fight he wants, that's what he's going to get. Thank you for watching. See you next time.